Jennifer Priest here with a fun tutorial on how to make a gorgeous gilded book page wreath. Now you just need a few basic supplies to do this, and the star of the show is Krylon's spray paint. This video is sponsored by Krylon, and they provided me with the spray paint to make this tutorial, and you can pick this up at your local craft store or hardware store. So the first thing you need is a dictionary or a encyclopedia. I like encyclopedias better. Some wood wreath forms, a craft knife, a glue gun, and of course your Krylon spray paint. You're going to need a gold metallic spray paint, and then the Glitter Blast and the Glitter Blast clear sealer. You're going to use your craft knife to cut out the pages from the book. Now I really like using an encyclopedia because the pages are really stiff and they're glossy, so they roll really easy. Now what you're going to do is take each page of the book, and I like to roll it starting from the cut edge. That way my outside edge is the edge of the book page so that it's nice and stiff. And roll that cone tight at the bottom, but let it kind of flare out at the end, and then use a little dab of hot glue to secure that. Now the nice thing about using spray paint with this is it doesn't matter what's on the pages. So typically people would do this with dictionary pages because they all look the same, whereas an encyclopedia the pages all look different. But if you're going to spray paint it, it doesn't matter what the pages look like. So here I just sped up the video so you can see these going by really fast. You're going to need about 50 to 60 of them, and then you can make more if you need extras. So you want to roll them all at the same time and do this all at once till you have a nice bin full of them. And then you're going to take your wreath form. Now you're going to need more tubes if you have a larger wreath form. So you're going to put some hot glue, and you want to lay the wreath form so that the little tiny small end of the tube is at a 90-degree angle to the inside of the wreath form. So I'm kind of trying to make it so that it goes straight, so it forms almost kind of a T. And you're just going to keep moving your wreath form around and placing your tubes on with hot glue. Now if you put one on and it's at too much of an angle, if it's not kind of coming straight out from the wreath form, you can heat this with a heat gun to loosen up that hot glue so that you can move things around and adjust them. And again, I'm making sure that all my points are pointing the same way on the outside of my wreath, and I'm also making sure that the ends where it's folded down are all in the same place on my wreath as well. Now again, you want to make all the tubes in one sitting so that you fold them all the same way, and that you have everything going in the same direction, because it'll be really obvious if something's different. Now for my wreath, I like to make a second layer of the tubes because this gives it a totally different look, a much more dimensional, fun look. And all you're going to do is put hot glue on top of your previous row of tubes, kind of sandwiching the first row of tubes between the second one and the wreath form. And then lay your tubes on top, kind of about an inch or two in from the edge. And then these little ends that poke down, you're going to fold those down and around your wreath form. This is going to give it a nice finished pleated look on the inside. Now I've seen tons and tons and tons of these wreath forms on Pinterest, and people do all kinds of weird things to the middle. Sometimes it looks really nice, like you can fill it with Christmas balls, but most of the time it looks crazy. So this is a way I found to have it have kind of a more finished look than just having these like weird jagged points, or people will just keep putting more and more and more tubes until it looks almost kind of like a flower. And some people are really good at it, but a lot of times it just starts to look a little crazy. So, and it doesn't look like a wreath anymore, it just looks like a big flower. So if you want it to look like a wreath, here's the way to do it. You glue your tubes down, and then going section by section, you fold those ends down and around the whole wreath form and secure it in the back with that hot glue. Now here I probably did too many tubes at once. I think I have like 8 or 9 tubes already, and then I keep trying to add more, and finally I was like, that's not gonna work. So you've got to work in sections because those centers of the tubes start to kind of mess with each other. And then you can also fill in areas that need to be filled in. And again, I'm trying to make my folds perpendicular to the inside of the wreath form. I don't want them to be angled too much. Now we're going to cover up this ugly after we're done spray painting, so don't worry about it. But it should look nice and pleated on the front end of your wreaths. You're going to keep gluing more tubes until everything has 2 layers. I think the biggest one I did had 3 rows, and it was I want to say like almost 4 feet across. So once you get to 3 rows, the cones start to kind of stick out. And again, it starts to look like a flower. So if you're not going for a flower look and you're going for a wreath look, 2 rows is pretty much all that you should do. And again, you can see I'm doing my final section of tubes and gluing down those ends with my hot glue gun, and just holding that down till it cools slightly. You can also use a multi-temp glue gun for that as well. Now, you want to use a heat gun to get rid of any glue gun strings before you spray paint, because the spray paint will stick to the glue gun strings and they'll show up. Next, you want to take your wreath to a well-ventilated area, protect the floor or whatever surface you're painting on. Here I use some cardboard boxes. And I'm using the Krylon Gold spray paint. This is a really pretty warm metallic gold, super trendy for this year, and it looks great for Christmas. Now you want to make sure that you shake the can really well for about 2 minutes, and then you're ready to go. And this can did a ton of projects. It did this wreath, and there's some other projects I'm going to have coming up. I think 5 cardboard letters, a greeting card hanger, some clothespins, and a jewelry hanger, like a bunch of stuff. And I still have paint in the same can. I'm still on the 1 can. So this paint lasts a long time and you can get a lot of projects out of it. Now while you're spraying, you want to kind of angle the can so you can get underneath things and inside things and hit the ends of those tubes. Let your paint dry for 15 to 20 minutes before adding the glitter blast. Now the glitter blast I'm going to add just to the center, and then as I work my way out from the center, I'm going to raise the can further away from the wreath to get kind of a fainter glitter effect. Then you want to hit that with some spray sealer after letting it dry for 20 minutes. Let that dry for another 20 minutes. Use a little piece of ribbon or tinsel to make a hanger. You can also use eye hooks. Those work really well on the back of this too. Just screw it into the wood. Now I'm taking some strips of the encyclopedia and creating a pleated like mini wreath to cover up those weird little points of cones that I have on the back of the wreath form. And this is how I finish most of these wreaths, is I'll do some pleating back here with either paper or ribbon to kind of cover it up and give it a finished look so it doesn't look totally crazy. Now normally I would cut my tinsel a little bit longer, but this time I didn't, so I'm going to need to cut some of that paper away so that my little tinsel loop is exposed so I can hang it on the wall. So here is the finished wreath hanging above my mantle. I haven't totally decorated for Christmas yet because it's not even Thanksgiving, but this wreath can look good all year long. And you can see that glitter, it's got kind of an ombre effect coming out from the middle, and then you have the really metallic shine of the spray paint on the ends of the wreath. I hope you enjoyed this project. Please hit that thumbs up button if you did, and I'd love to see you here again soon. Bye!